Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to wherever and however you're listening to this podcast. My name is G. Lopes, and you are listening to the Rated G podcast. Rated G is a Catholic consultant agency here to help ministries in any and all capacities. Let's help accompany each other. Folks, this has been a lifelong dream for me to create something like this, to help ministries a little bit better, to develop their programs a little bit better, to develop parish attendance, mass, anything and everything that I can do to share my gifts and talents with ministry. I am excited to be able to do. When I was sharing my idea with my family and my friends, they shared that maybe I should look at resources like videos. And once I got in front of a camera, I was not good at all. I just got really nervous. So you know what? I turned to the audio. And I'm actually kind of enjoying this a little bit more. And I also said, you know what else this world needs is another Catholic podcast. Boom. Maybe this podcast would do so well that I'll compete with Father Mike Schmitz in reading the Bible in a year. Imagine. So one of the best pieces of advice that I got is to share with the listeners, whoever they may be, a little bit about myself. So not the best at this, so here goes. My name is Guilherme Lopes, and I was born in Brazil, and I immigrated to the United States when I was about 5 years old with my family. My mother, my father, and my little brother eventually was born here in the United States. We are a family of four. We lived in New York all of our lives, and my family got really involved with the Salesians of St. John Bosco early on. My mother was a undocumented immigrant, and so was my father. Finding a job was tough, and the Salesian sisters in particular offered a home for my mother, and she was able to learn how to become a teacher. She was able to send me to school. And from there, that's where I developed my relationship with faith. You know, I had an up and down journey with faith, but I really credit my mother to a lot of the reasons why I have faith. You know, one of the things that I hold near and dear to my heart is when I was younger, my mom would, there was a perpetual adoration chapel that was attached to the school where, I don't know if it was a residency. I don't know if the sisters lived there, but there was a chapel that was next to the school. And anyway, she would go there every Friday and she would spend about 20, 30 minutes, but she would always bring me. And I would always ask her, why are we here? What is that shiny thing? And why does it look like a wafer cracker? And she said, that's Jesus. Jesus is your friend. And Jesus doesn't like to be alone. So I bring you here because I don't like to be alone. So we're going to be here together in front of Jesus, and we're going to pray. We're going to talk to Jesus, and then we're going to go about our day, and Jesus is going to be with us because Jesus is our friend. And I never forgot that. I went to Catholic school all my life. I had no aspirations to become a youth minister, a young adult minister, or even right now I'm the director of campus ministry for a university. I had no intention of anything like that. Actually, my background's in criminal justice. I have a master's in criminal justice, and I went back to school and I got my second master's in pastoral studies. My faith really developed and blossomed in high school when I got to attend a leadership retreat that the Salesians ran called the Salesian Leadership Retreat. It transformed my life. I saw the world very differently. I saw the world where Christ was absolutely at the forefront, and he was present in my life, and he was present in the people that I was with. But I had my ups and downs. I went to college. I was near Christ. I was far from faith. I had my ups and downs. But ultimately, the Salesians were always there for me to fall back for. They always invited me to run retreats with them, to participate with different events. But I always had a brain for fixing things. And I think this is something that I pick up from my father. So my father is in construction, and my father never went to school. My father's education goes as high as the 4th grade. So he was a police officer in Brazil. He's not very educated as we would understand, but he is probably the smartest man that I've ever met in my life. He can look at a baseball field. So he's a construction worker. In particular, he works with fields, like baseball fields, football fields, things like that. Fun fact, my dad created the what do you call it? The U.S. Open, the tennis courts. He built that. So, really neat. But anyway, he would look at those things and he would understand measurements. He would understand where to put things. His brain would look at it one time, would look at schematics, blueprints, etc. one time, and that's how he would just do it. And I think for the longest time, I thought that my brain would just look at things like ministries, youth ministry programs, retreats, and I would say, we can do that so much better. Actually, the other day, I actually tried to identify where I got that from, and it came from my dad. My dad would look at other people's work and would say, that's not leveled. There needed to be a little more cement there. The foundation is weak. It's going to crack. Between my mother being a teacher and my father being a construction worker, I found that was the perfect molding for my faith. When I entered into youth ministry with the Salesians, I would look at these programs. I would look at some of the work that people were doing. I wouldn't say, hey, listen, you have cracks in your foundation, in your education, or anything like that. But I would take the approach, go, wow, you really need help. But because of the limitations that I had in my job, I wasn't allowed or able to help. And I think so much time has passed and I've gotten more education. I have more experience. I've been around in ministry for about 10 years. I've had a number of just well-rounded people in ministry accompany me, and I feel so confident and ready to start this journey. I am excited to work with these parishes, with these youth centers, with these schools to say, how can we enhance your ministry? How can we take a program that's already good and make it better? How can we take your service and just explode it into something more? How can we reach our ministry to the people that we just don't see in day-to-day life? Rated G comes from the expectations that I have for myself. I remember when I would get a paper, I would get a grade, or I would get a feedback or comments or anything like that from anything, evaluations, and if it wasn't a 5, I would be really upset. And it's not because I'm a perfectionist, but it's because my family held me to a higher standard. Rated G talks about the standard that I have for Catholic organizations, Catholic ministries. My ministry itself, if it's not rated G, if it's not held to a higher standard, I have a lot of work to do. Every day I strive for more, for greatness, to bring God's kingdom to here on earth. How can we keep rated G together? How can we make sure that Rated G is a company, is a consultant agency that can help you? And that's the dream. That's my dream. And I really hope that people give me a chance. I really hope that people take some time to listen. Now, I'm going to talk about a lot of different things, and I'm going to avoid talking about me absolutely the most. I'm going to share tips and tricks about how to make your ministry more effective. I'm going to reach out to some of my contacts who are experts in the field, who are much better at the things that I do. They're something else. And I'm going to offer all that up. And also, I'm going to offer my services. So if you are a ministry who I understand how budgets work. I understand how parish council works. I understand administration. Sometimes it gets real difficult. Let me help you. Let me help you figure this out. Sometimes it could be just a great asset to have somebody to bounce an idea off of. I'm somebody who processes externally, so I need somebody to just be like, what do you think of this idea? Well, here's why I want this idea, and here we go. I'm going to show you how to use technology effective in your ministry. I'm going to show you how to organize. I'm going to show you how to take your themes, take your saints, and integrate those into the daily life of your parish, in your churches, in your youth centers, your schools, your classrooms, whatever the need is. Let's do it together. Let's create a team, and let's make your ministry a ministry that we can say is rated G. My prayers to you all as we begin this journey. Please keep me in prayer. Again, this is a lifelong dream of mine, and it's a little scary, but I hope and pray that this is exactly where God is calling me to. Let's keep it rated G, everybody. Let's pray for each other. Please pray for me. May God bless you. Peace.